Groovy, man. I'm here to share with you today the Groovy Waite. But who am I kidding? I can't see these without my reading glasses. These sunglasses, hippie granny glasses, will not do. I need the real thing. This can go too. It's all in the cards and not on me. I did want to share this shirt, though, to give you an idea of what you're in for. Some of you might remember the style of artwork from late 60s rock, folk, psychedelic album cover art. This is the Incredible String Band, 1967. I think it's called the 5,000 Spirits or the Layers of the Onion. Or is it the 1,000 Spirits and the Layers of the Onion? I always get it mixed up. I think it says somewhere in the writing they used these fonts that were sort of dripping acid fonts that were pretty hard to read. I think this just has the band's name. I don't see the title of the album here. Anyway, an artist who was indicative of that era and who I was looking for in terms of a tarot deck was Peter Max. Some of you might be old enough to remember or have seen the artwork of Peter Max. Lots of head shops back in the day sold huge blacklight posters and colorful posters that kids like us would put up in our basements that we'd redecked out in fluorescent paint and black lights and hang out, make them our hangouts. This is the Groovy Waite, which is a deck designed by Christine Aguiar from the folks at Tarot Collectibles. It's a joyful mix of traditional Rider-Waite-Smith imagery and hippie psychedelic style themes. It's a borderless deck inspired by the spirit of the 60s, designed to bring something groovy to your readings. Upbeat imagery makes these cards great for summer and festival readings. Okay. They had a deck they did previously called the Trippin' Waite, and some of you might be familiar with that. I passed on that one because it wasn't quite right for me. I didn't like the back of the card design, and some of the colors seemed a little bit washed out. I know that's harsh to say, but if you look at the deck side by side, I believe this is the more vivid of the two decks, and that is the back design, which I really like a lot. It's very, very trippy, very op art, very 60s. This follows the RWS tradition and just goes wildly out of control with the colors, which I love. The cardstock is highly glossy and very thick, thicker than I'm usually fond of, but I think it'll work okay. Feels like it will shuffle okay. The cards are the right size for shuffling. Sometimes I find cards too large to shuffle comfortably. If anything, I would say I would if I was going to change something, I think I'd change the labels at the bottom. The white is stark white. Maybe a black border with white lettering might not jump out at you quite so much and might let the colors really stand on their own. I don't know. I'm not sure if they changed the names of any of the cards in the deck, but I'll keep an eye out for that. You will be familiar with most of them from the RWS system. Oh, here's one that's changed. Instead of the Hierophant, we have the Guru, which I think that's Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, I believe. And this pattern, the star pattern and rainbows, the sort of cosmology is very indicative of Peter Max's style. Peter Max's style. Here we have the Lovers, and an angel with an afro, and a record. It just says rock and roll on the record label. That's a little bit cliche, I think. The Chariot. I guess it was rock and roll, but I don't think they really referred to the music of this area, particularly the FM spirit of the underground, as rock and roll. It's more like hard rock or underground rock, psychedelic rock. The Hermit with his Stairway to Heaven, which came later. Actually, that was the 70s, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. Wheel of Fortune, and we're not talking Vanna White and Pat Sajak here. They did have a lot of game shows on TV, though. That was kind of an era of game shows in the 60s and 70s. Justice. The Hanged Man. These edges feel a little funky, and I'm hoping, they feel laminated. I'm hoping the lamination wears well and doesn't peel off over time. I like this deck particularly because of the intensity of the hues, the saturation of color in the cards. And it has a sense of humor. I love the devil here with his, I guess he's wearing trippy glass sunglasses, hypnotic glasses, and I love that his tongue's hanging out. And he's got a heart tattooed on his belly. Some of these are 60s, but seem to sort of cross over towards the 70s a bit. The Tower. The Star. This is a little different for RWS, the Moon. Some cards are sort of Pixies stuff redrawn, some are like completely reimagined. The Sun, interesting looking sun there, with a very sort of Krishna-like sun and baby. Judgment, that one's new design. I love all the flying, floating planets and stars, and the dove. The World. This looks sort of disco-ish, disco ball heading into the 70s there. It looks a little almost more 70s and 60s to me, especially the floor, very Saturday Night Fever. Ace of Pentacles, melting acid trip. There's the Two of Pentacles. Love the Three with the peace signs. This one's a little more traditional. They can't all be winners. That's great. This pot cultivator. And that's kind of intriguing, sort of a craftsman from the Southwest with cowboy hat. Well, there were some sort of country, folk, psych rock artists. Crosby, Stills and Nash, Neil Young, Buffalo Springfield, Poco. A little bit of a Grace Slick sort of here, or Melanie, or Janis Joplin. This reminds me of an incredible string band song called Log Cabin Home in the Sky. I think the cardstock on this is thicker than the Winter Waite deck that I got. I got the earlier version of the Winter Waite. Now I don't know if the new one is heavier stock, but I sort of prefer the other stock to this. Some people like thicker cards. A lot of people don't care for glossy cards. I don't usually mind it so much, but I'm appreciating more and more less glossy cards. And this one doesn't need the reflection of the gloss when the colors just like jump off the card at you. Make love, not war. That's another thing I have. And, yeah, it was a slogan of the time, the Vietnam War and all that. But I just assumed they left the politics off of the art and the cards. I love this one with the trippy magic mushrooms. The clothing on the kids seems a little bit out of place design-wise, but, I suppose you could picture them wearing something like that if you'd taken mushrooms, maybe. This could be Sister Rose from Sly and the Family Stone. Planet hopping. This one's a little bit weird. The genie out of the bottle. I guess that could be an acid trip hallucination. I like the receding cups on the rainbow there. That's an interesting take. Here's another one, the Beatles, All You Need Is Love. And this writing up here is very indicative of the sort of dripping fonts in a lot of the posters at the time. Might have been fun, actually, if they had done the borders in that psychedelic lettering, although some might have trouble reading them. Friday night in the city. I hear neighbors going up and down the stairs, coming to and from parties and dinners. This has a very East Indian, West India, East Indian quality to it. She's got 4 arms. And this one looks like a tattoo or something. With the back goes with the front. Here's another acid trip, or astral body, astral projection. This deck is a lot of fun. Another one, this could almost be an R. Crumb illustration off of Big Brother and the Holding Company, Cheap Thrills. I think until a Peter Max deck actually does appear, this will satisfy me and hold me over. It's as close as one might hope to get to the summer of love and all that color. I like the way the world here is a heart-shaped world. This deck is very incense and peppermints, hot smoke and sassafras, green tambourine, iron butterfly, Inagata Davida. Some of you are too young for any of these references. Pictures of matchstick men. Electric Ladyland. Disraeli Gears. White Rabbit. Crown of Creation. Moody Blues, In Search of the Lost Chord. Pink Floyd. And there you go. And they've included 2 alternate cards. Don't ask me why they put Smokey the Bear in here with his theme of the day on the TV commercials, only you can prevent forest fires. I don't believe many or any of the forest fires that might have been from back then were particularly attributed to hippies smoking or having campfires in the woods, but I'm not sure why he's in this deck. Anyway, it's an extra card, so I'll be opting not to use that one. And then this is another one, an alternate, the 4 of Cups, but I like the more traditional version. So, I hope you like that. This is from a little company in Ireland that makes these, and it took a while to get here after placing my order, but I'm thrilled to have them. And I'm going to have a groovy time reading with these. Ooh, I can even make a trippy scene just by shifting the cards from the back. All right, enough of that. Peace out, man.